when when this first came up, and so it's not as though it's something we focus on every day, but as sort of one of the principles of whether or not we should consider expansion. That was one of the principles.
So, how does adding a team from the Sun Belt, a warmer climate team, if that's what happens, how does that help? In what ways?
It's a broader question. It doesn't get specific to one school. It says, okay, here we are today. When we look at what's happened over the last 20 years demographically, if we project out another 20 years, should we be looking at changing our makeup to address that? So, without going into any specific school, it's just projecting ahead. Do we need to grow the business in the next 20 years? And if so, does adding schools make any sense? And that's part of the principle of whether or not we look at expansion. But beyond that, no specific schools addressing in that scenario.
I'm Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
Sports.com.
How you doing?
Gary, good. When you talk about that losing population, demographic, what does that entail? What does that mean?
It's just a census. It's just a census. The Big Ten. My understanding is the Big Ten has the largest alumni population. If that's going to continue the next 20 years, do we need to take a look at our conference and see if the membership change would have any effect on it?
But doesn't that imply recruiting disadvantage?
Potentially. Filling our stadiums, recruiting, television,
sponsorship,
media, sponsorship, all those things.
Become an advantage or a disadvantage? I'm a little lost.
If we do nothing, and if the demographics keep changing, projecting out 20 years, this isn't just worried about 2010. Do we need to take a look at changing our makeup 20 years from now to make sure that we're still, I'm biased when I say this, but we're still wanting to say we're the best conference in America. So we want to make sure 20 years from now we can still say that.
When a prospective school, if there are prospective schools, looks at the Big Ten, what do you think they see? What is the reputation of the Big Ten, do you think?
Well, I've always felt our brand is a great commitment to student athletes, strong academics, very competitive nationally athletically, and a group that do it the right way, both in recruiting and competing, sportsmanship, etc. So I hope that's what they see. That's what we believe we stand for.
Would you like to see a championship football game added if the conference expanded?
I have mixed emotions about a conference championship. I've seen that it does have some value, but I also think I'm not feeling like it's broken in the Big Ten. So if expansion does then lead to a football championship, I'm sure it's something that we would take a look at. But it's not driving this process.
Gary, how important is the AAU, just the identity of the Big Ten, that every member is an AAU?
I think it's a fact that every member is an AAU school. Is it something that our presidents, and really in the end that's what it comes down to, would that be a make or break for our presidents? You'd have to ask our presidents.
Gary,
all right, I'm going to grab some lunch.
The perception is that this is a done deal.